going to hear from two of our professors, Andrew Motion and Adam Riess.
Physics and poetry use different languages to gnaw away at the frontiers of what is humanly knowable. But they're both engaged in the business of making sense of our world and our universe.
Now, by the time we got to the Hubble, we realized that the next great improvement would come not just from building a bigger telescope, that helps, but by, for the first time, putting it into space. And when we have a telescope down here on the ground, it's sort of like looking out of a swimming pool from the bottom. Everything is kind of blurry. You don't get as sharp a vision as you could get. So taking an even modest-sized telescope, and Hubble is only 2.4 meters across, but putting it in space gives you that sharp resolution. So science is very good at generating awe, but I think we don't really have the language to talk about awe. Awe is a mix of fear and wonder, and I think the way we process that, I think my colleague is in a much better position to do. So with that, I'll transfer over.
The night of the moon landing, the first moon landing, and standing with my mum on the lawn after dark, and her holding my hand and looking up at the moon and saying, "There's somebody on that." And it being one of the great sort of shuddery moments in my life, really. So it's called A Second Look. He put his eye to the telescope, and the telescope swallowed him whole, although someone was still holding his hand as he saw men land on the moon and told him, "Think of the dust." Then he bent again to the lens and realized space was 100 times deeper than ever, and there was God in his gas cave, tugging his beard and saying, "Dust is the least of it. Think of the starlight still forming that never arrives."
Oh,
so there you are.
Beautiful.
Thank you, I love it.
So let this continue. What is it, Johns Hopkins' motto? To bring the benefits of discovery to the world. You're our new James Webb generation. Go forth and discover, and we'll talk again soon.
What did y'all take away from this event?
I think it was actually really interesting to learn how art and literature can connect to science, because both are such abstract ideas, just that one finds answers and one continues to think about the abstract ideas and learns more, and it's really interesting to see. And I really like both, so I really enjoyed this.
Well, first of all, I'm a physics major, and I have never thought of the questions like the link between poetry and physics before. So I think this conversation just evokes my understanding and imagination about how can these two things be related. And I think perhaps as a physics major, maybe I can understand more about poetry and literature, so I can understand understand the universe in a more comprehensive spectrum.
I thoroughly enjoyed this event. I really enjoyed. I hate that it would potentially sound pedantic to say our attempts to kind of understand each other's worlds, but it felt very much like that. Like there was this search for this sort of common ground to be established. I felt that there was an immense respect that both parties had toward these fields that the other takes part in, and this sort of search for where these lines of thinking sort of overlap, which I just immensely appreciated. I thought it was really cool.